Hello and thank you for joining us here on Access Asia. I'm William Hildebrand. Coming up, football as protest in Vietnam. A team harassed by police as it fights for democracy and human rights. But can the beautiful game lead to a beautiful change? And want to get a buzz? Go to Indonesia where you can swim with millions of jellyfish. The best part, it's all natural fun and there's no chance of being stung. And Granny's gone viral. Meet the 71-year-old face of a new generation in South Korea. She offers everything from beauty tips to travel advice and knows more about social media than you. But first, this month, India celebrates its 70th year of independence from British rule. In 1947, the territory was divided in two, Pakistan and India, prompting the largest mass migration in human history. Today, Hindus are still moving from Pakistan to India, where tens of thousands languish in camps near the border with no legal right to work.
Jodhpur, home to Rajasthan's iconic blue houses, but also to sprawling settlements of Hindu migrants from Pakistan. 70 years after the partition of India and its Muslim-dominated neighbour, thousands still cross the border in search of a better life.
Hindu religion was dying there. They were teaching Arabic and converting Hindus. Here we are fine.
To qualify for Indian citizenship, migrants have to wait 7 years, during which they are not allowed to leave Rajasthan. But for some, the wait can end up being much longer. After missing a cut-off point to apply for citizenship, Jodhgas has been stateless for more than a decade.
If I have to pay such a price for missing the deadline by 1 day, shouldn't the government do the same for delaying my citizenship for 11 years? Why can't the government recognize us as citizens?
Many migrants live in illegal shelters with no water or electricity, eking out a living working in nearby quarries. This man became an Indian citizen in 2005, but complains of a lack of assistance from the authorities.
The government's help never came, and we just wander from place to place like cows. We manage to feed ourselves by working hard. We aren't dying of hunger, but we don't live like humans.
India is not a signatory to the UN Convention on Refugees and refuses to recognize the migrants as refugees. More than 500,000 of them are living in Rajasthan. Some, though, disillusioned, end up going back to Pakistan.
Now, for a group of men in Vietnam, football is less about staying active and more about being activists. They formed a team that's calling for democracy, human rights, and freedom of expression. And a crackdown on their games proves that the biggest opponent is still the authoritarian regime.
It may look like a harmless football match, but in authoritarian Vietnam, even a friendly sporting meet-up can be incendiary. This is Vietnam's dissident football team, who meet under the watchful eyes of the authorities.
We have played the so-called mouse and cat game with the security forces since we established our football team.
The team was formed in 2011 by a group of anti-China protesters opposed to Beijing's claims in the South China Sea. They call themselves No U FC, a reference to the U-shaped line which Beijing says marks its territory. The team has also embraced other causes, calling for democracy, human rights and freedom of expression in the one-party state. After police broke up the 2011 protests and then interrupted the group's coffee meetings, they decided to form a football team as a way to meet regularly. But they say they're still monitored and harassed, or worse.
They try to stop us, to block us from going out to participate in social events. Activists are being subject of torture, of harassment, of beating by thugs, by plain-clothes agents.
The matches are often broken up, like this recent weekend game in Hanoi. Pitch staff suddenly told the team to leave after they posed with a No U flag. Journalists were also instructed to leave, with no reason given. Nonetheless, the night carried on at a nearby beer hall, and the players say they won't be intimidated.
Now, not to take anything away from swimming with dolphins or whales, but one truly shocking experience is taking a splash with a jellyfish. Just go to Indonesia's Jellyfish Lake and you can swim with millions without getting stung. Elizabeth Walsh reports.
Indonesia, a country spread throughout the Indian and South Pacific Oceans, is made up of 17,000 islands. It's an ocean lover's dream. Here, one can swim with fish, giant rays, turtles, and beneath barracudas. But that's not all. Kakabon, an island located 3 hours from Borneo by boat, offers something particularly unique. The island is uninhabited, but its 58 square kilometer lake, surrounded by cascading jungles, draws many tourists. Why? It is home to thousands of jellyfish. Normally, that would be a swimmer's worst nightmare. But not here.
It doesn't sting at all. When you touch them, they're soft like jelly.
It's strange, funny. The texture is gross.
The lake is home to 4 varieties of jellyfish that can no longer sting.
Over time, the jellyfish have lost their sting power as well because there's no predators. They are basically at the top of the food chain. So so they are the king of the lake now, so they don't need to sting anybody or any fish.
Here, visitors can swim with the jellyfish and see the way they live up close without fear. But Indonesians take special measures to ensure that their habitat is carefully preserved.
Most important, do not swim with flippers. They can kill the jellyfish. And don't use sunscreen. That can contaminate the water.
These sea creatures are incredible. And Kakabon Island is one of only 2 places in the world where visitors can swim with stingless jellyfish. The island, whose name means hug in the local language and refers to the way the land surrounds the special lake, gives locals and tourists alike a magical experience to behold.
Now, if you think internet celebrities are just teenagers, it's time you meet South Korea's Park Mak-rae. When the creators of YouTube were born in the 1970s, she was already 30. Today, she's more than 3 times older than many of her online rivals. The 71-year-old's granddaughter even quit her career as an acting instructor to help Nan make videos full-time. Catherine Viet reports.
Amy Winehouse, as envisioned by a 71-year-old South Korean grandmother. It's all part of a series of social media videos that have turned Park Mak-rae into a YouTube star. Her unlikely rise to fame is courtesy of her granddaughter, Kim Yora. Kim turned their trip across Australia into a video travelogue, and as they say, the rest is history. Her newfound fame has given her a fresh lease on life.
My friends and I used to think since I'm over 70 years old, our life was over. But I told my friends, hey, life starts from age 71. They asked me why it starts at 71 instead of 70, and I answered, because I rose to fame at 71. We all burst into laughter.
Grandma's Diaries, as her YouTube channel is known, has nearly 300,000 subscribers. Kim says making the videos has shown her another side of her grandmother.
I've gotten to know my grandmother better. I thought she didn't like wandering outside, but I was wrong. She likes to travel, eat tasty food and take pretty photos. She just didn't have the opportunity to enjoy such things. She's just like us.
And her no-nonsense approach has struck a chord with young people.
Grandma's candid nature and her confident attitude are very attractive. Her true character appeals to fans.
Thanks to Park's candid takes on everything from trying new foods and activities to showing how to put makeup on, Park is redefining what it means to grow old in South Korea.
Enjoy your life.
All right, time for hair talk. I've had the bowl cut, the buzz cut, and sadly, one day sooner than later, the comb over. Safe to say, though, I've never had the Maryland. But if you want one, head to Taiwan. For more than a decade, Alan Shen has been carving patterns into scalps. In the last 2 years, he began focusing on celebrity portraits. Each one requires about 6 electric hair clippers, 1 razor, and costs $120. After 3 hours, you have a work on the back of your head that might be more recognizable than the front. Clients say they prefer hair sculptures to tattoos, and it definitely gives a new meaning to the saying, 2 heads are better than 1. That's it for this week. Don't forget you can watch this show and others on our website, France24.com. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.
Middle East Matters, presented by Sanam Chantier.
Keep up to date on the latest from the Middle East. We bring you political, economic, and cultural events from the region in this weekly Middle Eastern program.
Middle East Matters on France 24 and France24.com. Revisited, presented by Stuart Norval.
South Sudan 2013. Civil war erupts 2 years after the country has reached independence. In an explosion of political and ethnic conflict, 3 million people abandoned everything overnight. Terrified of being massacred, the refugees are trapped in overcrowded UN camps and living in appalling conditions. Ethnic cleansing, impending famine, the youngest country in the world is heading for disaster.
Revisited on France 24 and France24.com.